Hey, JJ, it's going pretty good, man. Sorry you missed the last one. Glad you're here now. How's everything going, man? Getting ready to try to pop this big block off maybe this weekend. I got it to click, but I think the battery I borrowed is a little too dead. It's a motorcraft. Maybe that's part of the problem. I'm looking over at my phone right now. My brother-in-law just told me he's going to let me borrow his. I'm going to be seeing my father-in-law tomorrow. He's going to give it to him. I'm going down that house I'm working on with the wife. I'm going to do some wiring. He's going to hand it over to him, and I'll charge it up and give it a try. I bought some fluids. I'm going to fill up the radiator with some 50/50. I got transmission fluid too, just because I got it in neutral. It shouldn't turn, but in case it does, the rubber bung's still in the back. I figure I'll fill it almost up, but not all the way up, just in case it turns. What's going on, Chris? Yeah, I know. I can't wait. I'm hoping it works out. I think I got it wired up right, and if I got it wrong, maybe one of you guys will tell me. I'll kind of explain it to you. I got a hot wire coming off the positive of the coil, going directly to battery. I got a cable coming off the starter, going to the battery. I got a earth, obviously. I just bolted it to the bell housing, easiest place to get to. And then I got jumper cables running it outside the car to hook it on all into the battery. And then I got the trigger hooked from the top of the starter, the coil or whatever it is on the top of the starter, and the other one to the battery. And when I pushed the trigger, it was just click, 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 click. I even have a battery pack, so maybe I got something wrong. I'm going to look at it again tomorrow when I get home. But I think it's right. But I'm going to throw it. Like I said, it was my buddies or brothers. They run a service station down the street, and I didn't want to buy a battery for just popping this thing off for the week. So I asked them if they had a junk one, and I was lucky. The junk man didn't show up yet. They let me borrow a junk one. It was, eh. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. I mean, I have it. It was running on that engine stand down at the when I had it at the engine shop. To have it running at home is a whole different thing. And I'm hoping, everything's right. It's an externally balanced. It's just Gen 4, 454 board over, so it's a 468. So I had to buy one of those externally balanced plates that you bolt onto the flywheel. So that's new. So I'm thinking it's all right, but we'll see. Hey, what one of you guys was telling me last week you were using a regular gas tank. Was that you, Chris? Do you need straps? I found the straps that came with my trunk pan. So if you need new straps, we'll hook up and give me an address and I'll mail them to you. If you already have them, that's cool. But these are factory 55 straps for a gas tank. I'd rather see somebody use them than just sitting around doing nothing. Yeah, I wasn't going to put the coil wire on or fuel to it. I was just going to crank it around a little bit and let the oil come back up. All right. Well, we'll wait and see. We'll get with Mike whenever if he stops by. Remind me to tell him. Hey, I remember to wear the T-shirt from the car show. That's my old Z28. That's me driving it, if you can see. That car show that I won that trophy in, I was telling you guys about last week. I dug the shirt out. I found it. I don't got the car no more, but I still got the shirt. It was a lot of fun to drive, Chris. It was a T10 4 speed T top. Take the T tops out in the summertime, and it was a blast. I mean, it was a Chevy 350. It had headers, so maybe 300 horsepower. I don't know, but it was just fun to drive. You could light the tires off just anytime you wanted to. Didn't have a crazy rear, and it had like 323s or something. I don't know, but you could light it off, let the clutch go, and you were putting a little bit of rubber down on the pavement. How you doing, Lynn? How you doing, hubby Larry? Glad you joining in. uh-uh. I'm a one woman man. That mean old 5 foot nothing Italian in the house is all I can handle, Chris. And then she would yell at me if I went fast in it, so she didn't come in it much. Hey, Chevelle Ranch. Ah, man. In fact, if anything, it'll be delayed a little bit because I'm helping the wife with the house, but I'm still trying to get stuff done. And I should be doing more of the body work. I still got to clean up the welds on the passenger door. I still got to clean up. I just was so burned out from doing all the sheet metal work. I wanted to do something fun. That's when I decided I'm just going to pop this engine off and see what happens. Good deal, Lynn. Yeah, that's the way I feel about it too, Ranch. Plus, it's like these things are money pits. These tri fives, they want a mint for everything. So it's like I work a little overtime, buy something. I haven't worked overtime couple. Well, I did this past week, last week because of the shutdown a little bit. I worked Sunday, but I try not to. I mean, I don't want to burn myself out. But yeah, I mean, I still got some body paneling to fix and all that, but I was just burned out. Wanted to try something new, do something fun. So I'm working on it. We'll see. Hopefully I'll have it popped off by Sunday and have a video up. Like I said, I fooled with it just a little bit today, and all I was getting was clicks, but I didn't have any fuel to it or anything like that. And all I got is I'm going to gravity feed it, but all I got is a little tiny primer ball. Hopefully it's enough. The tube's smaller than the fuel line, but if I could fill the two bowls up in the carburetor, I'm hoping the vacuum with the gravity feed will be enough to keep it running long enough to treat the headers. I think the thumbnail I put up showed the headers painted on there. They look pretty cool. I mean, there's flaws in them. The one has runs on it. I don't care. It looks pretty cool. I like the old school stuff. I like that white look. I'm gonna paint the exhaust all the way back white. I'm gonna dump them out right before the back tires. I think I like that old school look. I'm just babbling. What's everybody else working on? What has everybody else got going? Absolutely, Chris. Absolutely. Yep. Got to have a set of zoomies. I was trying to figure out how I wanted to do it. It's like a lot of the old school stuff, they have like a Y pipe right at the bottom of the collector where one would come straight out to run straight headers and the other pipe goes straight back. I don't know if you could put the Zoomy right on a flange on that or if I just want to put it in line on the pipe like everybody seems to be doing. I don't know. I'll take some feedback on that. I'm going to look into it. I'm going to look at it. Oh, you mean with the wing nuts? But I was thinking like, if we could make something to hold a Zoomy on that instead of having the plate over it, have the Zoomy right there. and have it open up right there instead of having a plate. I don't know if it's possible. I was just something I was thinking about looking into and seeing if I could do. If you follow what I'm saying. Purple Hornies. Is that a brand? Is that a brand, Lynn? Larry? I get a pencil right there. Yeah, me too, Chevelle Ranch. You're 100% right, man. I don't have the funds to run out to Meekum and just buy what somebody else built. And I like to know exactly where everything is on my car. It makes a difference. Mufflers. All right, I'm going to check them out. Write that down. Purple Hornies. Cool. How are you running your exhaust, Chris? You just going to run open headers? What's going on, Scooter? Thanks for coming in, man. I appreciate you stopping by. Better check with the wife. She might sell you, JJ. Yeah. I'm just like I'm trying to decide how and where to put the zooms in. You know, like I said, if I do the Y pipe at the bottom, I'm thinking they got to have like a valve that could just open up and close right there. I'm gonna look at these purple hornies, that Lynn and her husband Larry are talking about. I never heard of them. I'm gonna have to look into them and see what they're all about. Have you talked to Teinberg? You getting a set of the ladder bars? What are you doing? George that watches us, hopefully he stops by. He already ordered. He ordered a front end like I did. He's funny. He's like, yeah, I got one of the rare frames. It's a California frame, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it. That's great. All right. Yeah, like I said, I want mine to dump out some 3-inch pipe, dump out right before the back tires. What I put in between there is going to be what I can afford, what looks decent, but everything's going to be painted out in white. Yeah. Yeah. Flaps. See, that's the one thing about my car. Even these purist guys, they're going to have a hard time yelling at me, man. I had to cut 2 feet out of my frame. It was rotted. And that whole car was rotted. I mean, hey, I bought it. I built it. It wasn't some showpiece. It probably should have went to the crusher, but now it's a sweet gig, man. So, and purists come up to me, start jawing at me. I'm going to be like, go watch some of my videos. What's going on? How you doing? How you been, Gorney? Yeah, they're cool. I watched that. I'm responsible for at least two of those views on your video, Gorney. That thing took off pretty good, man. It's doing real good. But two of them are me. I watched that thing twice, looking the car over real good. That's true. That's true. I'm gonna try to I'm gonna try to figure this thing out tomorrow night. And my brother-in-law just sent me a text. He said I could borrow that car charger, but I'm gonna also just recheck the Bendix on the starter, make sure nothing's binding up. I can turn the motor by hand, so it's I don't know. I think that's about where mine dumped. I don't know if the picture shows it on the thumbnail for this live, but I took a quick picture of the engine. You got your headers from Speedway too, didn't you, Chris? You got the Speedway headers, right? They dump right behind the front tires. Yeah, they dump right behind the front tires. Dude, my engine's nothing too special. I mean, I got it from Craigslist, and it was listed twice. It was listed on Marketplace, and the guy, his name's Dave. He's a really great guy. In fact, he came back up here, I guess, about 2 months ago, and he bought back the pulley setup for the engine. I couldn't use it. I didn't want that billet look, so he bought the pulley back off of it because he was building something else. But his wife had the engine listed on Marketplace for $6,500, and he had it listed on um, Craigslist for $5,500, and it's the exact same picture. So I went down to see him. I talked him down a little bit. I got him down a little bit, and then I mean, I just dropped it off at Rob Mayer's engine shop, and I just had him go through it. And I'm glad I did. I mean, because I'm not a motorhead. I'm really not. I'm a welder fabricator, and Rob, he found problems right away. As soon as he put it in the engine stand and started it up, he'd get into it, and the oil pressure would go up and then start going right back down. Well, what it was is the oil pressure or the oil level was dropping, going up into the top end, and it wasn't tight up into the pump tube wasn't tight, so it was sucking just a tiny bit of air, just enough to drop the pressure down. So he bought me a new oil pump just to be safe, and he welded it in there. Then it was popping, and it was just not running right. And it turned out the spark plugs were just right in there, and it needed the indexing washers because it had dome pistons on it. And so he fixed that. I'd have been struggling for years I'd have gave up. Everybody says, "Oh, the Craigslist horror stories." Nah, if you send, I didn't spend that much more to have a professional go through it, and it makes right at 500 horsepower. It's nothing special. I mean, it's a Gen 4 454 60 over. It's got Chinese aluminum heads on it. What else? It's got that big carburetor on it. I'm not even sure what it is. I have to look up the number on it. It's a Demon. I'd actually like to have Chris's manifold. If you're not going to use that, you can mail that to me. I'll trade you those gas tank straps, Chris. But yeah, I mean, it's just a regular 468. It's a 454 what is it, 60 over? But I appreciate that, man. I do. Your engine sounded pretty fine to me. I mean, yeah, that's great, Scooter. You can shoehorn that right in there, man. I'm telling you, you'll get it. You'll get that in there. Believe me, your wallet will recover. Do it while you're young, man. I didn't. I was in the Navy, then I'm married, and I got a kid, and it wasn't until my kid was done college that I could do this, man. So I always wanted to, and it's finally my turn. And then this house pops up, and I got to help with that. So it is what it is. We'll get to it. I get a couple hours out here every night. That's good enough for me. You know what though, Chevelle Ranch, you can't worry about what other people do, man. There's friendly people out there, and there's people that all they want to do is try to make you as miserable as them. You can't live your life like that. I see stuff, I just let it roll off my back. I'm not worried about it. I don't compare my stuff to anybody else's. Everybody's got their own ideas. You know, I'm set in my ways. It's the way I do stuff and how I feel. Like with the car, it's like all I care about really is I want it to look and be as the way I want it, but I also want it to be safe because you guys got to remember these guys are building cars. You're driving them on the street. So there's a mom, dad, and a kid driving down the street the other way. You got to make sure your car is right. Like Gorney, I saw a thing about whenever Chris was doing his steering thing about the universals. You're like death versus a couple extra bucks or something for the right universals. That's my train of thought on everything. You know something, Ranch? That's what's wrong with this world. People think they could just cock off to anybody anymore, and they start typing all that stuff, and they forget in public, and they do it, and sometimes they get punched in the mouth. Oh, no, no, no. That's not what I meant, Chris. But when he was asking you if you bought the good knuckle joints or the cheap knuckle joints. He's one a few bucks versus death or something. I didn't mean it that way, dude. See, look, I'm in trouble. Thanks a lot. I'm in trouble with Chris now. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Yeah, yeah. As soon as I seen that comment, though, I wrote that down. I got to buy them ones because I don't want mine to break neither. You guys cracked me up. Oh, thanks, Scooter. That was a long time ago. They straightened me out, brother. They taught me how to weld better, and they straightened me out. I was a crazy kid, but thanks. Make sure nobody else is around, Chris. That's all. I'm gonna give it hell on the track, man. If I get bounced off the wall and that's it for me, that's it for me. It's my choice. But I just when I'm street driving, I try to take it easy. I don't want to mess up somebody else's stuff, you know. I know you are, buddy. That's cool. I mean, they're pretty strict. Like even here in PA, I got to figure out what I'm going to do. I was reading on one of the Facebook groups that I'm in for cars. They were talking about, and it was right here in Pennsylvania, that a guy with a gasser got pulled over without a front bumper, and the cop was just giving him the business. And he said he's had the car for 15 years. It's the first time, and it wasn't state police; it was local police. And so I don't know if the guy was just in a bad mood or what, but I'm gonna have to look into that because I don't want a front bumper. I don't know if the bar out front will constitute a bumper or not. We'll see. If they force me to put one on, they force me to put one on. True enough, Ranch. True enough. I even took this to the tractor one time. I had a blast. It had street tires on it. I can't remember the exact time. It was a low 13. It was pretty good on street tires. The lady at the booth, like if you've ever been to the track and you come down and at Cecil, you go around this bend and up through this gravel road, and they got like a little wooden shed, and the lady and her husband and some other person was up there, and she was handing out the tickets, and she comes up, knocks on the window, and I had power windows too. I put the window down, and she goes, "Did you have the air conditioner?" Because I putting up a very good time. I said, "Just don't give me a hard time. This was my first time." And she looked down at my pants and she turned around and said, "He just got his cherry." Yeah, she was funny. It was a lot of fun. There he is. How you doing, George? I was just telling these guys a little while ago about your comment. You got a California frame, so you're gonna cut it. That's great, man. I'm glad you called John. I'm telling you, he's a great guy, man. He really is. He's top notch. Yeah, Chevelle was it's just a Chevy 350. It had headers so that the pollution stuff was deleted. Obviously, the can was still there, but there was not nothing to it. And it had a little Victor uh what was it, the manifold, and it had the Victor Jr., excuse me, and it was a Street Slayer carburetor I bought for it. It was a Demon, just like this one, but smaller. Had Hedman headers on it. I put the X stainless exhaust on it. So I bet you it had about 300 horsepower. I wouldn't be shocked if it got a little more or a tiny bit less. But yeah, and on street tires and these little tiny rims. I hated these rims. My buddy at work had one, and he sold it to my other buddy, and he redid the whole car, made it a beautiful car. He really did. He got a 406 supercharger on it. It's a really nice car, but he didn't want it all original, and it had original rims, and I wanted them rims. I went down there and I helped him pull the 350 out, and I'm like, "Yo, dude, let me get them rims." And he wanted, like, I don't know, it was fair price, 250, $300. I'm like, "All right, I'll give it to you Monday." Nah, I think I'm going to hold on to them. He sold them 2 days later. I work with the guy. I'm not going to not give him his money. I didn't have my wallet. He didn't live that down. The guy that sold it to him and everybody else in the shop, they broke his stones nonstop over that one, including me. Well, you got to do what's right for you, Chris. Whatever you want, brother. My man, George. I'd cut it too, man. There you go. 55 got one. Yeah, put that on a swap meet on Facebook, man. Somebody will eat that right up, 55. That's cool, in Larry. Yeah. I got mine off of John. He's got that. I like the way he had everything's already there. I don't have to hunt nothing down. I can go get one by one beam. I can weld it up, no problem. That's not the. I didn't want to look for all the bushings and everything like that. Yeah, I just worked a couple overtimes and bought them off of John. I don't know if it's just the allure of those frames though, because I was reading and I didn't see how they were any. One piece they're just welded on the bottom or something, but they was like there's no real benefit as far as the drivability of them, unless I was looking at wrong articles or something. But they are harder to find. They were built at the Oakland. I think the Oakland plant, was it Oakland? I think it was Oakland. Yeah. That's great, George. Yeah, John's got good stuff. Mine are getting rusted just sitting there, but I wanted to get him because I knew he was retiring. I didn't know how much longer he was going to have inventory. I just bought him. My wife's like, you better get him before he retires because then you're not going to be able to get him. And plus, you know what, man? Now you can have a relationship with John, and he knows he can answer questions for you, man. He's a super nice guy. I called him up one night, 9 o'clock at night, asking him questions, and he's just spitting it off the top of his head. Didn't even bother him a bit that I called him out of the blue. He knew who I was, and super, super guy, man. I can't say enough great things about him. World's a better place with him in it, I'll tell you that. Yeah. All right. I was told, oh, it's hard to find the stamp on the frame. It's not. It's right under well, I had mine out in the front yard, so. But if you have the frame out from under the car, the stamp should be on the driver's side, right below by where the driver door is, and the numbers are stamped and they're like this big, and they match the numbers that are on the pillar on the tag. I think that's on all the Tri-5s. That's not just the California frames. Hey, man, thanks for stopping by, Scooter. I really appreciate you, brother. I'm glad you decided to pull the trigger on that engine. You have a good night too, man. Yeah, he's getting out of it. He's done. I think him and Randy are building this Falcon station wagon, and it's the last car they're doing. And I haven't even seen any updates on it. This one guy's really into their cars, Jeff Jared, or not Jeff, is it Jeff Jared? Jared Jard. And he's bought like 5-10 cars off of them. And they're building this last car for him, and I think that's it. He just sold a complete chassis, frame and all, with his front kit on it, with the open rear, Wildwood brakes all the way around. I think he wanted like 17 grand for it. If I wasn't this far along, I would have pulled the trigger. It was ready to go. It had the ladder bars on it, everything. Yeah, he's selling pretty much everything he's got, I think. I don't know how many more frames he's got. I don't know how many more. Like I said, I was worried. I bought mine last year, early last year. My wife's like, just put them in the corner. When you're ready to use them, use them. Because, you really want the weight on the car before you set your pinion angle and your ladder bar. So the first thing I got to do is set the pinion angle. I just got everything clamped on there right now. But I want to wait until I get the glass in there, get the seats in there, get the weight in the car. And then I'll set the pinion angle, and that's when I'll put the ladder bars on. I got a buddy that's got a drive up on lift. I'm going to borrow to put those on for that. That's what I'm going to do with them so I can stand under it and get it real nice. Yeah, mine matched to the body on mine too, Larry. Larry. Yep, same thing. Yep. That's where mine was, George. A little bit behind the door. And the numbers are larger, a little bit larger. It was easy to find. My sandblasting guy or my media blast guy was like, you might not be able to. I took it off and said, there it is right there. I looked right at it. It's right, hit you right in the face. No, I don't have any of that stuff yet. This thing was stripped out, man. Everything was sold on it. There was just if you watch that the origins of the name when it was just sitting in the garage, that's how I got it, man. The clip wasn't on it or nothing. And the only piece of glass that's any good is the back glass, and it's sitting sitting right over there on that bench behind that mirror box. The only other glass I got, I bought the back glass. I'm going to get Fiano to help me with that. I'm going to catch him on one of these trips when he's going up and down 95. I hope anyway. Man, he did a lot of work on that truck. I can't wait till he puts the video out on it, but did some good work. Yeah, people rummage through saying that's exactly what this was. It was picked clean, Chris. There's not a steering column, nothing. There's nothing. Dashboard stripped empty. I was just nothing. I got a couple stupid little things. I saved some of the felts just because I want to pull the clips off of them. I guess they're real expensive. I saved stupid stuff like that before I sent it to the media blast specialist. The stuff's not even in that great a shape, but we'll see what I can use and what I can't use. I'm still pulling my hair out over these light fittings. This driver's side fits perfect. I don't like the way it fits on the outside of the other one, but my buddy come over, he said, we'll fix it with his body work, so I'll let him fix that. Yeah. See, George, that's how I felt too, man. I mean, you go on the internet and look at the stuff he's built. There's a museum. It's about 2 hours from me. It's in central Pennsylvania. It's called Eaglesmere. And I guess you could Google it and get to the car section where the cars are. John's got about 5 cars in there that he built. The guy just keeps getting cars off of them. And it's a private museum, but the guy does let the general public in. And he'll let you in for a private thing if you ask in advance. It's like John already invited me if I ever made it up that way to call him and he could, yo, Blue Yellow, I didn't know if you were going to make it. You were going out to eat. How you doing? Thanks for stopping in, man. I don't have any garnish, Chris. I don't have anything. I don't have a garnish. I don't. I have nothing. I just get it one piece at a time, just like Johnny Cash, as I'm going, as I need it. Like I said, I just needed to do something fun. That's why I'm popping this engine off. I just wanted to do something different and fun. I hope it starts. If not, man, try something else. Man, that's awesome, dude. That's awesome. That's rare you get to do that, brother. I'd love to have some Nikki stickers. Now I'm gonna have to cry to John. I got one. It's like this big by about this big. Now them door ones are sweet. I know what you're talking about. But I'm gonna have my old lady do the painting on my car. I want it to look like that old school look. Nothing perfect. Everything's just you could tell it was done by hand. Mine stood right out. Yeah, we'll see, Chris. It's got a different flywheel on it, and it's got the external balancing plate. I hope I put everything on right. I hope I don't. I'm not putting any juice to the hydraulic throwout bearing, but I mean it's in neutral. Everything should be fine. But you saw what happened to so nothing should be turning. I am going to put a little bit of fluid in the transmission just in case. But you saw what happened to Mike. I got the exact same throwout bearing he's got, and he brand new and he had to change it. I'm praying I have to change mine. I can't imagine because there's two O-rings on a shaft, and I lubed them up real nice. It was tough to get started, but once you got them started, they slid right on. So as long as you don't neck those, I don't know. Mike was saying something about you could blow them out if you don't have a stop to stop the clutch from pedal from going too far, maybe pushing too much fluid. I have to look into that because I have the old pedals, brake and clutch pedal, and they have a kit where you can make a kit to make a hydraulic work. I have to decide if I want to do that or if I want to buy some new style pedals. That's something else. It's just I'm not putting it off. I just hadn't made a decision on what I want to do with it yet. Did you have the frame out from underneath the car though, George? Or did you like look in between there with a flashlight and sanding at it? Yeah. But the numbers, did you guys, when you were finding your numbers, did you do it with the body on there or did you have the frame out? Because if you have the frame out, it hits you right in the face. You don't need no oil or nothing. But I imagine if you're trying to look in that little space between there looking for it, it'd be hard to see. Oh, okay. Oh, great. Sounds like they're lighting off fireworks. My poor little dog in the house is probably having a heart attack right now. Yeah, I had my frame. I had my frame all the way out. Had it out the door and down in the yard. I power washed it off, painted it up. Yeah, I'm glad you hooked up with John. You can Fred Flintstone all our cars. Yours was in a lot better shape than a lot of though, dude. Your braces, I couldn't believe they were still good, man. Your where the front pillar and all, I couldn't believe it. Yeah, the front my front plate on the cow. I don't even know if it's original to this car. Somebody riveted it on. It had been sandblasted, and it's just awful. The door pillar and the frame match. The numbers match. The title has the number, the pillar has the number, and the frame has the number. That was good enough for me. That front ID tag or whatever it is that tells you the color of the car, the code, and all that stuff. It could be it. I don't know. Like I said, this car was quartered in too. Yeah, you got a nice one, dude. I'm never tell anybody what to do with their car, Chris, but I would never paint that car. I would if you have to paint it, clear it. You know, it's got a sweet little patina to it. Try to match your patchwork to the patina a little bit if you can. That's a nice car, man. Paint's earned, man. That paint was earned. I didn't get a choice. Mine was primer gray when I got it. That's cool. Man, I wonder where Mike's at. I watched this video that he just put up, about 4 or 5 days ago, and he showed a little quick shot of the MG. I just started laughing because how low the windshield was when he was explaining how his head was above the windshield. Oh man! Oh, what happened? Oh, there it is. I lost the screen for a second. Yeah, that's this tag, George, right? This one here. But the isn't the tag that's on the cow? Isn't that aluminum or something? It might be steel. I could be wrong. Somebody sandblasted mine. I can't even read it. And then they got big ugly pop rivets holding it on there. He had to sit on the floor. Oh, dang. No, mine's still there. Thank goodness. That part of the car was not quartered. The quarter stopped at the pillar right here. It was quartered about a foot in on the package tray. It was cut right here. And it was cut right here. And then the quartering ended right about mid-door on the floor braces. And they even body worked the floor, outside the floor. I couldn't see it. They mudded it and sanded it and painted it, and then they put the tar over top of it. I couldn't see it. I don't know if they were hiding it or if that was their fix, and that's it. But I couldn't see it until I had it media blasted. Hey, what's going on, Phil? Thanks for stopping by, buddy. Your number on the pillar is completely gone, Chris? Dang. Yeah, that's what I was talking about, George, that gave you all your options and everything. I can't even read it. My car, at some point, I don't know if it was a police car or not because it's had black on it, it had the white on it, it's had teal. Well, remember, this car was quartered, but the hood and the original passenger side, there's teal in there. But the title said gold. So I don't know. And the guy, it was an old biker passed away that I got this off of, his widower and his best friend. And he had a 56 too that he was selling. So maybe he had it titled the gold because his plan was to paint it gold. I don't know. But I can't even hardly make out the options. The only thing I cared about, like I said, I checked was the pillar to the title to the frame. Yeah, man, I'm gonna try. Tomorrow I got to work down there at that house with the wife, but I'm gonna be home 5 or 6, and then my brother-in-law is gonna lend me his battery charger. I'm gonna try to put a Zap charge on that. You can come over. Sure, I'll put you in the video. Yeah, there's a plate on the firewall. That's what we're talking about, but I can't read it. The guy who had it before me, he sandblasted it. It was hard to, it's hard to make out, and it was pop riveted back on. The only thing that's original is the VIN number that's on the pillar still there, and it matched the frame, and it matches the title. Yep. How important is my frame now that I chopped it all up, George? I got John's front on it, and then back here, right before up into where it just starts to go up in the wheelhouse, I cut 2 feet out and had to weld a new piece in. So I challenge somebody. Well, I guess you can find it because I got it plug welded, but it's hard. It's not easy to find. I tried to make it all blend in. Yeah, I still have the number. Yeah, find me on Facebook, Phil. You can come over if I pop this thing off. I don't care. I'm hoping I can heat it up. I don't have any gauges, but I know. I mean, I was the engine guy had it on there. I probably should have gauges, but he ran it and it was fine. I mean, it had killer pressure, oil pressure, killer. The temperature stayed fine. I want to play with the fan too. I want the fan to run the whole time because I want to heat it up enough to treat the headers. You know, you're more than welcome. I'll put you up for a couple of nights so you could sand my dashboard and make it look as nice as yours, Chris. All right. Flex Springer 98. I'll look for it, brother. We'll put you on. We're gonna you'll be in the video. Only if you want though, man. Yeah, that's cool. Some states, is North Carolina one of the states that don't have titles for old cars? I mean, some like Pennsylvania, you have to have a title. They don't care. It could be a 1925 Model T or whatever, and they want a title. So it's like when you buy a car from the South, you have to get it titled. Did you have to have a title made, Phil, when it got to PA? Because a lot of the southern states don't require a title on cars that old. They just want a pink slip. But when you get to Pennsylvania, they have to build a title or something, don't they? Something like that. I don't know. I don't understand it all. Because I was looking at a couple southern cars, and it sounded like it was going to be hard to get a title. Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah, I was telling these guys earlier how I had to have the car hooked up to run. I got it to click a couple times, but I think the battery's too dead. I borrowed it from my buddies. They got a garage down the street. It was just laying on their shop floor. You know, the junk guy didn't show up yet. Still had 12 volts. I'm like, put a battery pack on it and give it a whirl. But I ran a hot wire from the positive on the coil straight to battery. And that's also going to be the kill switch to kill the circuit when I want to shut it off. And so then I ran a line off the starter to the positive, obviously earth the engine to negative, and then I took the trigger and put it from the the coil side of the starter to the positive. When I squeeze the trigger, it's only clicking. So I think it's just the battery. I think I got it wired good enough to start. I don't know. If something I said sounds wrong, speak now. Title is the vehicle. It's got a notary stamp on it. It's signed by the owner. It's got the VIN number of the car, the year, the make, the model. It's just like a proof of ownership. The same thing, papers. Except it's just one paper. It's proof of ownership of a vehicle. It's a mini. It's just from Speedway. I think it's theirs. I mean, I think I have it shimmed right. It might be too tight yet. I got two shims holding it down, and I see if you saw the video, I shimmed the starter out a little bit because from what I'm reading, and you guys tell me if I'm wrong, the Bendix is only supposed to go about halfway into the flywheel, and then you want like a paper clip of space. I'm close to all those things, so I think it's just a matter of lining some stuff up. I think the battery's just too low. I wouldn't call it wallet size. The title's pretty big and it folds out. It's like I don't know, like instead of 8x12, maybe an 8x16, but real special paper, and it has a special clamp on it, or not clamp, but stamp. Yeah, one tap from the tab above the hot on the starter, and that's where I put it. And and it kind of like breaks the circuit just for trying to start it. Is that not right? Oh, okay. Well, I got to get it to turn over before I can go buy sound, George. Right now, I'm just getting a click. Well, I got to get under there with a flashlight, make sure the Bendix is still engaging into the flywheel. I'm sure it is. And it's probably just the battery. It's also a Motorcraft. I'm like, man, this is sacrilege. You know, I'm trying to start up an old Chevy with a broken down, half dead Ford battery. That's probably the problem. Charles Burrell, how you doing, buddy? Is that my shipmate from the Navy? How you doing, buddy? I was in the service with Charles. Glad to hear it, brother. You guys having a lot of fires up that way. You know, Josh McDowell's in Oregon, and Hope was just his wife. Hope, remember her? She was just sending Kim a bunch of pictures of the fires. It's like eerie up there. It's like everything's red. Yep, Sammy G. She's underwater now. She's a reef in the Atlantic, brother. That's cool. It's just like, yep. That's good to hear, man. I know last week it was like this. It looked red. Everything looked red. It looked like that. You guys ever see that show on Netflix, Stranger Things? It looked like Upside Down World. All the pictures we were looking at. I can only imagine. I remember when we was in Alameda, there was the Oakland Hills fire, and we were watching the football game. I still lived at Marina View Towers, and you could see the fire on the other side of the water. And when I woke up in the morning, well, first of all, they had stopped the football game. It was the 49ers and somebody else. The smoke was so bad. But then, after all that drama on TV that some of you guys might remember, I wake up the next morning, there's like a half inch of white ash on the cars. It looked like snow. I'm like, what the heck's going on? And it was all from that fire, the Oakland Hills fire. Yeah. Charlie, that's when I stayed at that Marina View Towers before we moved down. What was the name of the road I lived on? San Jose after that, but it was like right on the water. It was the closest thing to the base I could find and I could afford. It was like almost a studio. It had one bedroom, one bathroom, and then the living room, dining room, kitchen was one big room. And we had a little balcony out back. My second place was a little bit better, a little bigger. Yeah, you were telling me, Chris. Yeah. You better remember, Charlie. We had remember we had what was it? We had prime rib for Thanksgiving because you couldn't take ham. Or not Thanksgiving, Easter. We ended up getting a big prime rib roast. It was awesome. Yeah, it was the second place. We had like 10 people over there. You, Novak, who else? I think maybe Ray was there. I can't remember. Josh and Hope came because they lived at when we moved on San Jose. There was 4 apartments, and they took the end one that was upstairs because we turned them on to it. They were down there. We had a big shindig. Yes, Odie. How many of those teeth did he swallow? Remember, he'd get all liquored up, and he had that, one of those teeth you pop on. He'd always swallow them or lose them. I haven't thought of that guy in years, man. Odie. That's hilarious. I think Lumox was there too. I can't remember. Jackie. I can't remember if he came or not. No, I think you're thinking of Josh was house sitting over at Rudy's, and we went to the fight over there. Maybe there was more than one, but the fight I'm thinking about was when and he lives around here. Smoking, he just died. Smoking Burt Cooper beat up Holyfield, but they stopped the fight and said Holyfield won. We watched that at Rudy's house, but Rudy wasn't there because Josh was house sitting, and Rudy said we could go to his house and watch the fight. I think that's what you're thinking of. We were all over there. Hey, yeah. Well, Burt Cooper lived right down the street here in Chester. And he was destitute at the end. I mean, he had nothing. And it was a sad story, but yeah, he's a local guy from right around here. Man, I'm looking in the thing. I gotta cut this thing. I gotta clean it up a little bit. My wife said, "You're looking straggly." Yeah, I like my beard too much. I can't. I got to clean it up though. It's getting a little crazy. I've been working my brains out though. I didn't even shave tonight before I come on here. I don't know about all that, Chris. I hit 50 this year, man. 50. And then I look on Facebook there, and two people from my class in the past 2 weeks has just fell down dead. That's crazy. That's scary stuff. Where I guess our generation's at that age where some of the guys are going to die young, and some of us are going to make it a while. I guess I don't know. Oh, you're a young buck, Chris. I'm just kidding. Everything hurts. Every time I wake up in the morning, something new hurts. By the afternoon, that's gone, and it's something else. Yeah, I got two right now, Charles. Two in the past in 1 week's time, man. That's funny, Gus. I think we're all going to wake up dead one day, blue, yellow. Yeah. Hey, my father passed away at 56 years old, man. It was tragic. I mean, he was over there in that Vietnam, and he had that stuff sprayed on him. And he smoked. He chain smoked fuel. What's them? Cool Filter Kings, man. He died of lung cancer, but he almost died of a massive heart attack. He they said, "Oh, we killed all the cancer. You're good to go." 2 days later, he fell over dead behind the couch from a heart attack. My little stepbrother finds him, calls the ambulance. They saved him. We flew to Texas. They said that he's not going to make it. Well, he made it, and he woke up, and he lasted another 2 years, and then the cancer come back and got him. That was it. I'm never going to be that guy. My wife says that to me all the time. Chevelle, shaking my fist at young kids. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that, Charles, on Facebook. I saw you had posted that. Yeah, I lost my father in 2003. I just lost my mother. Shoot, I guess 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. Five. It was either. I got to go in and look. I think it was two. It was like in December, so it was like 2015, almost 2016. Yeah, that's why I come out here, man. I'm still gonna hot rod. You know what I mean? I'm gonna build a hot rod. I'm gonna run the hot rod. Yeah, I try. You understand a lot of things when you get to that stage. Yep. Hey, 55. I feel old, man. Some days I get up. It's like after I'm done talking to you guys, I'm going to stand up, and I'm going to have to take about 30 steps before I fully stand up. Sound familiar? There he is. How you doing, Mike? Yep. I turned 50 in April. See, I still might want to do that someday, Joel Ranch. I don't see a problem with it. Unless you're the guy that's got to work at 6 o'clock in the morning next door. That's true, Lynn. Larry, that's true. That's what I said. Some days I'm too tired to do anything. I just come out here and look at the car and try to think about what I'm going to do next. Try to get an idea. Excuse me. This Diet Dr. Pepper's getting to me. Oh, Mike, you need gas tank straps? I have them. You can have them. I mean, you just have to get me your address somehow, and I'd send them to you. Wasn't it you that said you needed gas tank straps, or somebody did last time? They came with my trunk pan, and I'm not going to use them. You're funny, George. Cannonball. Oh, man. As much as I enjoy all you guys' company, I think I'm going to call it a night. I got to get up early tomorrow and go work on that house, and I want to have some energy to play out here in the garage. I really appreciate everybody coming by, and I'll see you guys again. I think we're going to do this every Friday. If I'm not on Friday, it's because something bad, or not bad, but something came up. But I'll see you guys next Friday. Or wait a minute, Sunday if I put up a video. All right. All right, everybody take care. Have a good night. I appreciate all you guys, man. Thanks for coming by, man. This is a lot of fun for me. I really appreciate it, and I like talking to all you guys. Till next time.